Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Operation Sand Dune. So today I thought it would be good to just kind of go over maybe a few hints and tips for some different bits of terrain. So today we're going to be looking at specifically sort of sand dune kind of bits of rock that might break up and give some sort of cover to the forces playing on the table. This is going to be quick and simple. I like when I'm doing terrain for it to be quick and simple so that I can get it on the table as quick as possible and get playing, because playing is the bit I enjoy the most. So we're going to look at some kind of like escarpments, but they're much smaller than that, and I'm going to be using these as scattered terrain. I'm going to throw out a couple of different ideas. One is sort of a longer piece, one is going to be a short piece. So we'll do that in this video. I'll do another video on minefields and definitely on hills, because I've been reading through Jewels in the Sun this morning, and there's a couple of campaigns that really, or a couple of scenarios that really capture my imagination. And basically what they are is, if I can find some, basically they've got lots of hills in. Let me quickly see if I can find the scenario I'm thinking of. Some good one. Some really good scenarios in this book, guys. If you haven't got a copy yet, I highly recommend it. Let's see, it's mostly in the Italy campaign, and let me see. Okay, it's not Bridgehead. It is Assault on Alata Villa. It's really cool. It's basically got a village up on a hill. It's a 3-tier hill, and it probably stretches about 3 foot. So it takes up a good part of the defender's hill, and then the attacker sets up and heads up. And it's Germans against Americans, although I'm sure you could play it as any sort of scenario and play British and Germans or British and Italians, kind of however you feel. So there's that. And then the other one that I really like is Monte Cassino Attempt on Monastery Hill, and it's got several hills. In fact, it's got 4 in total. It's got 543, 0.444, 0.445, and then the Monastery Hill itself, which is a big 3-tier with the monastery on top. So at some point, I'm going to build that Monastery Hill. I just think it looks great. I think it'll be a lot of fun to play. Excuse me. And it's Germans against British, which I always like. Probably have to get some Fallschirmjäger for that if I want to do it properly. But any Germans to start off with will be really good. Yeah. Well, that's 20. That's 2 foot out by about 5 foot across. No, that's a 4 foot side, so that's 3 foot across. So 3 foot. So I could probably use some of my big hills for that. So we'll look at building hills very shortly. But today, escarpments and scatter terrain. And let's head over now to the workbench and we'll get started. See you in a sec. Okay guys, so we're over at the workbench. Just to start with, a couple of points or things that you might use. I'm using wavy sticks. They're basically, let's see, 8-inch long by 1.14 inches wide. They're really kind of cool. I picked these up at Walmart, really cheap. They're just kind of cool. I really like them. Something else you might pick up is oval bases. These are from Hobby Lobby if you're in the States. 3 inches by 3 inches that way, by 4.5 inches that way, by about 3 mil thickness. So these are also, I'm going to use these for scatter terrain as well. Some other tools you need: PVA glue, very useful, or any sort of white glue, wood glue works. Scalpel knife, or craft knife. Sometimes you might need some sort of file just to rough bits up. You can use sandpaper as well, and pink foam. Okay, or any sort of, I guess, foam. Now I'm using the offcuts that I've used for bigger projects. So I've got these little ones like this, and this is ideal because you know, I can stick that on my piece, and then I can kind of do a lot of carvings and bits like that once I've done that. So let's get started. We'll start off with the wavy sticks to start with, and I'm just going to find a bit of foam that I like. I don't want to make it too tall to start with. I want to make it a little bit smaller. I want to leave a little bit to the sides. In fact, this one I'm going to make in 2 parts. So I'm just going to roughly break a bit, because it doesn't matter, guys. This is the great thing about terrain building, is it really doesn't matter. You can be rough and ready as you like. Okay. So I've got my 2 pieces. Now I've got to sort of cut them down a little bit, just to make sure that they fit. And again, this is all rough. It does not have to be anything pristine at this point. And kind of the rough bits actually kind of give it a lot more character, I think, at times. Give it more of a cut. Okay, and all these spare bits that I'm ripping off, I'm just going to put them in a pile because they're going to come in useful again. Okay, so I've got that piece. Let's just cut this piece. Okay, so I'm just roughly sort of saying, where do I want it? And cut in. And then take it away and give it another cut. See if I can get through there. And then it's tearing that off. Good. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these down, okay, and then leave them to dry. The drying process can really take kind of any sort of it depends, like, you know, what sort of environment you're in, whether it's warm or not. I don't put it on too much glue, just enough for it to sort of bond. And the other one. Now, I like doing these videos live because I like to show you that actually these doesn't really take all that much time. I mean, a lot of the time it takes is in the drying process, and that's fine. So I've now stuck my 2 pieces onto my wavy base. What I'm thinking, just to kind of give you an idea, I'm going to probably sort of trim this down, trim this one down, slope it down so it looks like it's coming into the middle. Maybe put some rocks and stuff in there using some scrap pieces of pink foam, just building it up, and I'll be carving up all the sides. Now I'm going to leave that to dry, and I'm going to do something that I've always wanted to do, and that's to say, here's one I did earlier. Okay, slightly different in design, but it's you know, it's exactly the same sort of idea. So I've glued my styrofoam or pink foam down, and what I've actually started to do, guys, is I've started to carve away at the sides. I've even added in a little extra bit of rock here, a little bit on top, to start giving it some volume. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start carving away at this side, trying to roughen it up. Sometimes you can do this with sandpaper, file. Sometimes you might just want to cut, you might want to tear pieces off. There's no sort of set technique for this, guys. It's very rough and ready. I quite like carving out bits from the bottom, just to show that not all rocks are flat and flush to the ground. Let's just take that piece out there. Okay. And this edge, I'm just going to pick it up like this. Okay. And let's just roughen it up a bit. And it's already starting to look, guys, a little bit more like some rocks. I don't like that corner there, so we're just going to shred that up a little bit. This is a bit smooth for my liking, so let's just pull that out there. good, and we're starting to see now that it's starting to take some shape. Now, compared to a figure, guys, let me just grab one of my desert rat figures for you to compare. Okay, it comes up to about his waist. Now, you might be thinking, well, doesn't that kind of make it sort of more of a brick wall or something, or a stone wall? It could do, but what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit more to this. So just taking some offcuts from other bits, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sticking them on and building it up. Okay, again, this is going to be just very rough and ready, seeing what I've got and just making a decision where it might look good. Okay, so I'm going to just start building these up. We will be trimming some of these down because they don't look quite right. Trying to get it to stick. Now we're starting to see a little bit more character kind of come into the actual piece that we've got here. Let's see if we can tear some of this off. Just kind of making it a little bit more rock-like, sticking them on top. And guys, to be fair, it's so often when you're building terrain just about playing around, seeing what looks good. This is my first one, so I don't actually know how it's going to turn out. I'm just hoping that what I finish up with is a terrain piece that I really like. Now, as you can see, we're starting to build it up. It's starting to give a bit of cover. I guess you can't really see that close, but that's about the level we're at. As you can see, he's now covering his shoulders. You can just peek over the top, so it's going to be maybe too much to shoot over, but it will be good for a bit of coverage, and it's also going to break the ground up. What I'm envisaging is some pieces maybe sitting like this, so they kind of break it up. Maybe there's a bit of a pass here. Maybe it's going to come off at some funny angle. Maybe something like this, guys, just to break it up the ground and to really kind of make people think about how they're going to be moving their forces around and how they can do that. So so we're going to keep building this up. Let's add a bit more here. Like that. That works. That works. And sometimes tearing is actually better than cutting, guys. I will say that now. Actually, that's come out looking pretty good. I do like that. Yeah. And I'm not going to do the whole length of it, raising it up. It's going to be a case of, in certain parts, adding a little bit extra there just to kind of make it seem taller and higher. Some of these middle bits are going to be tough because I haven't left a lot on the top of this. I wish I'd left a bit more, but I can kind of build my way around that by tearing some pieces off. But I can tell you guys, I'm looking forward to playing some of these scenarios in Duels in the Sun. I think they're going to be a lot of fun to do. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I haven't got my Italian army even ordered yet. It's sort of in my mind, but not actually been put in yet. My British forces are still sort of lacking at this point. You know, that I need more. I need to build more. I need to paint more. But that doesn't matter, I think. I mean, I've got some Americans I can add in. Can play it sort of fictitiously. You know, Americans made it a little bit earlier. I can throw in Germans from the Blitzkrieg period, just pretend like they haven't been supplied well enough yet. There's lots of different bits and pieces that I can throw in there to kind of make make it work. And I love historical gaming. I love gaming bits that actually happen, but sometimes, guys, you just have to say, well, you know what, I haven't got that army, or I haven't got those figures, so let's see what else I can do. So let's just stick this piece down. Quite like the look of that. Is that the way I put it on? There we go. Yeah, it does look a little bit flat on one side, so I'm trying to vary it a little bit. But anyway, guys, so let's just give you a close-up of this. So we're already starting to create a really rugged land there. There are a few areas here and here that are still a little bit flat for my liking. I mean, this one's not too bad. It's kind of broken up. This bit here and this bit here, I think I just need to add some small little bits in. Nothing too big here. Nothing too drastic. So let's see if I can find a piece or two that I can just break up some of that. Yeah, that's going to work perfectly. Sometimes, guys, I think you can overdo it, but so sometimes less is more. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I was busy making, and my camera ran out of space, so or my phone ran out of space, so my video stopped. So just quickly to recap what I've done, I've now put in, as you can see, these extra bits of rock up here. I've glued them. They're actually pretty solid right now, which I'm really pleased about. On this side, I've got a few areas that are just a little bit flat still, just here, and here. I may go and rough them up a bit with my file. Doesn't take a lot of work, just to kind of, in fact, actually roughing them up with my knife would be probably better. So just kind of trying to, I guess, chip bits out and just make it look a little bit more rockier than it did. It'd be easier if I can just do it like this, actually. Get that one out of the way. So I'm just chipping away. Good. That's already looking better. It's already looking like more rocky than. Good. Good. Excellent. And let's shake that off, get rid of a few of the bits. That's just made it look a little more kind of organic, I guess, rather than that sort of almost solid foam that you kind of look at it and you think, well, that's pressed together, and it just doesn't look like rock. So that's, I guess, my first piece now done. I'm now ready to sand it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cover the whole thing. I'm probably going to do it in stages. I'm also going to water down some PVA glue and just paint it on, and then dip it in the sand, and hopefully cover this whole thing. Once I've done that, then I can think about painting and highlighting with a dry brush, adding maybe a few rocks here and there. Yeah, I'll do that in a bit. So I'm going to get the previous one that I did. It's now pretty dry. I'm going to get that all knocked up, and then I'll come back and we'll look at painting on the what you call it, the glue, the PVA, with the watered down PVA. We'll do that. We'll add sand to it, and we'll talk through that in a minute. So don't go too far. We'll be right back. Okay guys, so I'm back. I've just finished off the other one. As you can see, build up the top layers, put some little bit of rocks in the middle. I will use some extra smaller sort of gravel rocks just to kind of build that up a little bit more. But while those two are drying, let me put those off to one side so I don't break them. I always hate it when I break what I've just built, because I've not been gentle with it, or I've knocked it or something. But anyway, so very quickly, I thought while they're drying, and just before I pop off to lunch, let me take one of these oval bases and make some scatter terrain for you guys to see. So for this, I'm going to need some bits that probably a little bit bigger. That's almost perfect, that square there. So I'm going to put that just in the middle of my square. So again, quickly whip some PVA glue on this. We may need to leave this to dry a bit and then come back after lunch, but we'll have a go anyway. We can always re-glue it and come back to it if we knock it off, but just enough PVA. And as you can see guys, but it's not a ton. Okay, so let's stick that in the middle. Now this is going to be the basis of our scatter terrain piece. I want to make sort of a big clump of I guess like oh look, there's a piece for another one. Excellent. I want to kind of make this as if it's built up. It's a little bit big. That might be better there, but maybe we could use that. So let's tear some bit these corners off. These corners will come back in use in a bit. Right, let's get the knife out. What I'm trying to do, guys, is build up sort of like just a bit of a rocky, bouldery area that is sort of freestanding out by its own. I'm just going to cut away here. See if I can just rip some of these bits off. I think I need a new blade, guys, on my knife, because it is ripping and shredding, and that's not too bad for the rocky look. But that's it. That's a better cut. Okay. That's getting there. It's looking a little bit more. So the plan is then, guys, and I may have to, as I said, glue and leave to dry. But what I want to do is I want to build it up. So again, it's another bit of terrain that blocks line of sight, that breaks up line of sight, that perhaps gives some cover, not just from fire, but also, you know, if I've got a little section or a team here, I can hide them behind here, pop them out and shoot. Maybe pull off an ambush. Maybe it's going to be good enough to hide a vehicle behind, like an SAS Jeep or something like that. But basically what I want to do is I want to build up. I might even put just a small another layer on top of here, just to kind of break it up even more. So let's do that. Let's really break it up. And I just want to completely take out these flat areas on top. I really don't want it flat. Also kind of don't want the bottom edge to be too flat as well. And as I said, guys, you know, it is sometimes just a case of just getting stuck in and ripping bits off. That's all I'm doing, and it doesn't look too bad. That looks like a boulder on top. So I'm gonna glue that down. I will need to. I could actually leave. I could rough up this edge a little bit more as well. Although it's drying, probably shouldn't. But I'm just gonna do that anyway. just so there's not so much edge showing out. It doesn't matter too much if there's flat bits, because what I can do is stick like some pebbles and bits and small little kind of I haven't even got any here to show you. On a previous hill that I did, I used just these kind of small rocks here just to add in extra detail. Everything else that is painted yellow is pink polystyrene foam, and this is the sort of look that I want for my hills. Bits are tough, some bits are lichen kind of that have dried up, just stuck them down. There's definitely a dry brush on there, but I found a lot of the time it was just the paint watered down in places, made it lighter, in other places it made it darker because I used less water on the paint. So a real mix of combination of painting skills, but hopefully we're going to be able to make our other terrain look and fit in with this piece. So let's do a little bit more. Let's see, I'm going to put it back on, see what if I like it like that. If I could maybe tear some more off, I think. And it is sometimes tricky to stop it looking like it's just being torn and actually make it look sort of organic and ripped and stuff, but it's kind of coming along. I like it. Real trick is going to be leaving just enough of it at the top to... Oh, that's really starting to stick now. Just leaving enough for... Yeah, that's looking like it. That's good, looking good. Now I will build that up. So let's stick a bit of glue on this. I've kept part of it with a flat bottom so I can stick that on, but I haven't left too much of that bottom edge, sort of making it square like. Okay, and what we'll do, we'll leave this to dry now, but once this bottom layer is drying, I'll come along and I'll cut it back and I'll shape it. I will take more of the offcuts and the bits I've chipped away and I'll stick them around the bottom to build up it, and then once it's all dry, everything's in place, we'll move on to the next stage, which may be gritting or sanding perhaps. I don't know, I don't like the way that's sat. Yeah, that looks better. That looks better. I might even add some more bits up here, guys, just because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, you know what? Yeah, it doesn't look great. It looks like there needs to be more kind of rocks and pieces up here. So let's just stick a couple more pieces down. Get rid of that flat edge, almost peeling it off. Okay. Let's stick that down here. And like I said before, guys, it's all about just playing around with it, seeing what looks good, trying to pick up pieces that you've already ripped off. They'll start to look less and less, especially when they're painted, guys. When it's painted up, it really does change what the foam looks like. It stops looking like foam and starts looking more like rock. So let's stick a couple more pieces on. Ah, see, that's going to work perfectly there. Let's keep moving that top piece. It's not really sticking very well, but hopefully. Okay, I'm going to put some more glue on here. It's not liking it. Okay, that's good. So it's starting to look a little bit more like a rock piece. So I'm going to leave this over lunch now to dry so I can start working with it a bit more this afternoon. Let's just see if I can... Yeah, I'm going to glue this one down so I've got a second one drying. When you're working in batches, guys, or you're kind of wanting to get something, you know, if you want to get a bunch of things done, it's usually good to do it in kind of stages. So you do all the initial gluing down, then build it up. Excellent, excellent. I almost like it like that. Excellent, excellent. I'm just thinking, guys, I probably should have done this in some sort of time eclipse. So I apologise for the length of this video. I may split it up into 2 parts, just to save you guys and your time. I know time is precious. So, okay, so I'm gonna just crack on with this, get it finished, and we'll be back shortly on the video. But I'll come back after lunch and just get this finished off. So we'll see you very soon. Hey guys, so it's after lunch. I've come back, and now I've actually just put these together. These are those scattered terrains that I put on those oval bases. As you can see, I mean, I've gone for simple on this one, gone a little bit more extravagant on this one. Just kind of building it up with extra foam, and we'll be filling in some gaps with various different bits, like you know, with the sand and maybe some of those little rocks that I showed you earlier. So the other 2 have dried. They actually look pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to talk about making sort of the 50-50 PVA water mix, and then we'll crack on. So just very quickly, what I tend to do is I take old glue bottles that have got just a little bit left in the bottom. Yeah, in fact, this one I might have even added water to already, but basically I just add water to it, about as much as there is glue. Give it a good shake, and then I pour it all into a container like this, and it looks kind of funny, but you get watered down PVA glue. And then I'll just take an old paintbrush, paint it over, get my tub of sand, dip it in, bring it out, let it dry, and that's it. So let's skip on. I'm going to do a quick time-lapse video for this so you can see what I do, and we'll come back very shortly. So catch you in a moment. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I'll just see if I can pick these up. Sanded both sides. Okay, and they're looking pretty good. I got 2 of those. I then went ahead and did the scatter terrain pieces. They're kind of looking cool. So I'm going to probably leave them about 24 hours to dry, just to be absolutely on the safe side. And then I can start putting on layers of paint, and yeah, we'll see what sort of kind of colours we can play with. Maybe some yellows and some browns mixed in, or I don't know, we'll kind of mix it up, and maybe some I don't know, probably quite sand coloured based. I think in the past I've used this paint from Vallejo. It's 1914. Oh, sorry, 914 green ochre, something like that. But I haven't got a huge amount of that left, and that's my only pot, and I'm not, other than ordering it off Vallejo, I'm not sure where. So these are dried, or these are drying. I think this is probably a good place to leave this video because it's getting long now. We'll come back in part 2. We will look at painting them up and adding bits and pieces to them just to kind of make them pop a little bit. Talk about highlights, adding maybe some tufts or some lichen or some pebbles and stuff. So we'll look at that in the next episode. So join us again for part 2. And if you've liked this video, like it. Please feel free to comment. And if you like this video or any of the other videos, please feel free to subscribe. And you have a great rest of your day. Okay, take care.